Good day to all Googley Filipino teachers who are watching this moment. This is weekly Google for Education training sessions for teachers and learners entitled The Googley Filipino Teacher. The topic that I will be discussing is all about Google Drawings. And this Google Workspace for Education app has many potentials when it comes to designing a relevant, accessible workspace. So, are you ready to explore the Google Drawings? Again, welcome to the Googley Filipino Teacher, and I am Sir Rainier G. De Jesus, Science 10 teacher from Manuel Luis Quezon High School, SDO, Caloocan City. And I am one of the DepEd ICTS Senior EdTech Specialist Program Lead of the Google Workspace for Education under Certification and Professional Development Team. And I am also the Program Lead for Science Mobile Apps under the Digital Instructional Materials Development Team. And this is my topic. Let's draw designing relevant, accessible workspace using Google Drawings. For this episode, the expectations will be the following. Number one, use Google Drawings for designing relevant, accessible workspace. I will try my very best to deliver and to pull off this topic so that after the Googley Filipino teacher training, everyone can design visual organizers, interactive posters, infographics, interactive whiteboards, photo comic strips, and many more. And number two, participate actively in the webinar session. At the end of this training session, I want you to have this reflection and self realization. And this is what we call my googly takeaways. Let me help you with this, dear googly teachers, and you may complete the following statements. The first statement is tonight or today, I learn blank. The second statement is I will apply what I have learned tonight or today by blank. And the last and the third statement would be I need more information on blank. You may answer this, my googly takeaways, in the comment section of this video. And I'm sure that I will read your answers after this TGFT session. Now, at this point, the following are the TGFT flow. Number one, discussion on Google Drawings. Number two, presentation of engaging online activities using Google Drawings. Number three, demonstration part. Number four, my googly takeaways. And number five, question and answer. For Q&A, you may leave a comment or question on the comment section of this video, and I will try my very best to reply and answer your queries. You may also leave comments and suggestions. Are you ready, Googly Filipino teachers? Yan. So now, let's get started. The spotlight now is focused on the Google Drawings. Ngayon po, narinig niyo na po ang ating topic. At ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon ay isa sa mga Google Workspace for Education apps na malimit nating nagagamit. And this would be the Google Drawings. First, I will discuss this all about Google Drawings. Yan. So Google Drawings, it is a virtual board that allows users to create content by drawing, pasting images, linking videos and websites, and inserting text, shapes, tables, and other content onto a page in Google Drive. Now, these are the benefits of Google Drawings. First is the impact on student learning. Because of its design, students are able to collaborate, create, communicate, and engage in learning. What is particularly great about this app is that it allows students to work on the same document at the same time from different directions. or different locations. They can edit, add, remove, and comment on content simultaneously. This app really has the ability to place students back at the center of their own learning. Number two, and this is what we call ease of use. This app is incredibly intuitive. This app can be accessed through any browser or any device, of course, with internet access. But it is much easier to edit the drawings on tablets and computers like monitors with larger screen so that it has the ability to edit easier. For the next one is the accessibility. This app is very accessible for screen readers and braille displays. Google provides also several pages of step-by-step directions to enable these adaptations in Google Drawings. Wow, very interesting. They also have the class size. This app does not have any set of number of individuals who can use it, and it is definitely free. And probably I wouldn't have more than 400 people editing in one document as a teacher. So maganda po yun, no? Because of the maximum number of students that can edit the document simultaneously. And next po ay yung privacy. Privacy, remember that Google does not break down any exact what information they collect from us from this app, but overall, the privacy policy and the terms of use are enough to give one post when deciding whether or not to use this app. So basically po, we are still protected by Google kahit po hinihingi niya sa atin ang ating email addresses. This time, I will integrate the SAMR model or the SAMR model on the Google Drawings. The SAMR model is a framework created by Dr. Ruben Puente Dura that categorizes four different degrees of classroom technology integration. The letters SAMR stand for substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition. This summer model was created to share a common language across disciplines as teachers strive to personalize learning and help students visualize complex concepts. Now, discuss po natin what are the different levels can we apply technology. There are two levels of technology integration, and these are enhancement and transformation. I will discuss further this summer model. For the substitution, the technology acts as a direct tool substitute with no functional change. And this is for augmentation. Tech as a direct tool substitute with functional improvement. And for the second phase is the transformation. This is for modification. The tech allows for significant task design. And for redefinition, the last phase would be tech allows for the creation of new tasks previously inconceivable. Now, discuss po natin isa-isa yung ating summer model. For this stage, for substitution, technology acts as direct tool substitute with no functional change. What does it mean? At this stage, technology is directly substituted for more traditional teaching tool or method. It is simple, bare bones, and direct replacement. And this is the simplest stage where EdTech is used as direct substitute for traditional practices. Let me give you some examples. These are examples of substitution. Using online quizzes and programs instead of pen and paper. Having students type their work instead of handwriting it. Uploading a worksheet in PDF for student access as opposed to photocopying. Using a traditional interactive whiteboard as opposed to a traditional whiteboard and saving the result as a document. So makita po natin, dear teachers, na lahat ng ginagawa po natin bilang traditional or conventional way of teaching ay nagkakaroon po tayo ng direct substitute. For number one kanina, instead of having pen and paper assessment, we may use online quizzes and programs using Google Forms. For the second example of substitution, imbes na magbigay po tayo ng o i-allow natin ng mga students na magpasa ng ating mga output sa photocopying, pwede na po nating pagawa yung PDF format. And instead of using ang ating green board or blackboard, gumagamit na po tayo ng digital interactive whiteboard, example of which is Google Jamboard. Yan. Next po tayo. Or next phase is augmentation. Technology acts as direct tool substitute with functional improvement. The technology is again directly substituted for a traditional tool or method, but with significant enhancements to the student's experience. Ask yourself if the technology increases or augments a student's productivity and potential in some way. It might give your students a clearer understanding of a complex topic or make it engaging in a way that traditional methods can't. So let me give some examples of augmentation. Number one, give more informative and engaging oral presentations by a Google Slides, PowerPoint, or Prezi containing multimedia elements. Yes, maganda po ito, dear teachers, na gumamit po tayo ng mga platforms like Google Slides, no? Na nagbibigay ito ng magandang visual effects when we are dealing with multimedia elements, katulad ng audio, text, and video. And then, use the internet to independently research a topic as opposed to relying on teacher input. So, dito nagbibigay din tayo ng liberty sa mga bata na sila po ang mismong maghanap ng kanilang topic using internet. Next one, use an edtech program that gamifies curriculum content for student engagement and allows students to track progress in an accessible way. What is good here in augmentation, ginigamify po natin ang ating curriculum content para po mas maganda po at maging exciting sa mga bata. So those are some samples of augmentation process. Let's move on to this one. At meron pa pong isa, no? Teacher instruction is supplemented with a video that clarifies a particularly hard to explain concept. Yan. So may mga topics po tayo, dear teachers, na somehow hindi natin ma-explain ng maayos using our cartolina, ang ating tinatawag na Manila paper. By that, by the process of augmentation, pwede natin gamitin po ang video as substitute po at ma-augment natin yung pagtuturo ng mga hard to explain concepts. Yan. Next po tayo ay this is what we call the modification. Technology allows for significant task design. In this stage, dear teachers, you are beginning to move from enhancement to transformation using the summer model. Instead of replacement or enhancement, this is an actual change to the lesson's design and its learning outcome. The critical question here is, does the technology significantly alter the learning task? At this modification stage, the technology is used to design interactive and dynamic tasks that go beyond the limitations of a traditional classroom. So let me give some examples of modification. Produces podcasts summarizing a topic which can then be accessed by other students as a revision resource. Gamit na po natin yan lalo na ang ating mga podcast and ating radio-based instructions. At ito po ay isang magandang example ng modification. Next one, create an informative video presentation in place of a standard oral presentation. They can use their voice alongside a broader variety of creative multimodal components. Pwede po tayong magpagawa ng mga ganitong informative video presentation na pwedeng pamalit sa tinatawag nating standard oral presentation. Next one is, eto po, ginagamit ko po ito sa Science 10 classes. Use a technological tool that makes an abstract concept visible in an hands-on, responsive way. Example of which is voyaging or exploring on Google Earth to better understand measurement and geography. Tinuro ko na rin po ito at ginamit ko na po ito sa aking class, online class, yung paggamit mo ng Google Earth para po ma-detect at ma-locate yung kung saan nag-origin po ang ating earthquake by means of what we call the triangulation method. Naghahanap po kami ng tatlong seismic stations at hinahanap po namin yung kung saan nag-intersect yung tatlong stations using Google Earth at nakita po ng bata yung exact coordinates ng pinagmulan ng earthquake. So that would be some examples of modification. Now, the last stage is what we call the redefinition. The technology allows for the creation of new tasks previously inconceivable. The last stage of the summer model represents the pinnacle of how integrated classroom technology can transform a student's experience. In this case, you ask yourself if the technology tools allow educators to redefine a traditional learning task in a way that it would be possible without the technology creating a novel experience. Yan, this model, summer model, which is the last stage, this is what we call the most sophisticated stage of the model or the framework. It sees us the technology to make entirely new learning opportunities possible. Let me give you some examples of redefinition technology integration. One, connecting your students with other people around the world as part of the learning journey. Yan, no? Sa paggamit na po ng ating mga video conferencing apps like Google Meet, ay nakakapag-usap na po tayo ng mga students kahit sa ibang lugar at kahit sa ibang bansa. The next one is having students publish their work online where it can be viewed by peers and by the broader community. Maganda rin po ito because nagkakaroon tayo dito ng instant feedbacking mechanism because of the students can publish their work online and then the teachers or somehow the peers can review that output. Next one, recording students as they deliver a presentation or practice in a physical skill. So, pwede ito magamit sa MAPE classes. Then, using this recording to prompt student reflection. O, di ba maganda rin po itong isang suggested way at isang example po ng redefinition. And one, last, experimenting with tasks that use extensive multimodal elements. Example, producing documentaries or short films, web pages, print documents with creative layouts. Pwede na po natin itong paggawa lalo na sa mga higher levels like mga nasa grade 9, grade 10, junior high school, at syempre nasa senior high school level. Okay, I will summarize the summer model in the context of Google Drawings. First is the substitution. The students can use Google Drawings to produce a digital poster instead of drawing a poster. For augmentation, students collaborate on the same digital poster at the same time in class or in their individual homes. Everyone's work is visible to the teacher through the revision history. Di ba po ang ating mga Google Workspace apps ay meron tong revision history. Malalaman natin kung sino-sino ang mga collaborators at anong oras at time binago yung content. Lalo na kapag naka-open yung share setting ng isang file. Next one, under modification, students can collaboratively create interactive visual displays with pictures, movable objects, and clickable links that bring you straight to a video or a web resource on which students can provide real-time comments and feedback. Ito po maganda rin dahil nagkakaroon po tayo ng, again, instant feedbacking mechanism. Kaya po ito ay magandang magkaroon ng collaboration with the students. Last one, the redefinition. Students and teachers can provide critics or comments to other groups from anywhere in the world. So ito po ang ating summary ng ating summer model in the context of Google Drawings. I hope meron po ako sa inyong na-provide the information about this summer model and Google Drawings. Yan. Let's draw. Designing relevant, accessible workspace. Ready na po ba tayo? First thing, we need to know how to access Google Drawings. Dear teachers, you can access Google Drawings via Google Drive. Once you are logged in to your Google Drive, you can create a new drawing as follows. Yan po. These are some steps para po ma-locate natin at mahanap natin kung saan po yung Google Drawings at pwede tayong mag-enter sa kanyang user interface. First one, click the Create button in the top left corner. Next step, click More and Google Drawings from the drop-down menu. And last one, your blank drawing will open. Tingnan natin sa next slide. Okay, these are some screen grab on how to access Google Drawings. First, hanapin po natin sa ating waffle icon o yung tinatawag nating Google Workspace apps, yung Google Drive. And then, pag nakapasok na tayo sa interface ni Google Drive, just click natin yung new o yung plus new and then locate more and then click po natin yung Google Drawings na nasa screen na po. Okay? Now, what are the features of Google Drawings? Discuss natin ano yung mga features ng Google Drawings. Bakit ba natin dinidiscuss ito at nasa hotspot siya? Unang-una, Google Drawings has this feature of equal size. When you create text, images, or shapes, it's easy to make sure they're on the same size. While resizing these shapes, these blue bracket lines show you which items are the same size horizontally or vertically. Yan, no? Meron po tayong feature na tinatawag natin na equal size. The next feature would be this one, equal spacing. Distributing everything equally makes your creations look nice, neat, and professional. The blue bracket lines also show when the spacing between items is equal. So nakita po natin sa screen yung dalawang shapes. It's either square or rectangle. Meron tayo ditong circle and triangle. The space between the first two shapes, nagpapakita po ito ng equal spacing na may blue bracket lines. Same as with shapes of circle and triangle, meron din po itong blue bracket lines. Next one, we also have centering and lining up. That's what the red lines are for. Yan, nakita po natin na may red. As you move something around on the page, they'll show you what is centered with or what is lined up with on the edge. So makikita po natin, dear teachers, dito, meron tayong red lines showing that those two shapes are centered and lined up. And then meron din po tayo ditong red na lines. Dalawa po ito. Meron tayong vertical red line and we also have the red horizontal line na nagpapakita po ng centering and lining up. Okay. Now, these are some features pa ng Google Drawings. We also have the nudge versus scoot. When you click on something and move it with your arrow keys, that moves it 5 pixels at the time. Ang tawag po natin doon, dear teachers, ay scoot. Okay? Scooting it over 5 pixels is a little bit of a jump. So, mas kapag ginalaw po natin o nag-click po tayo ng ating sa mouse at ginalaw po natin yung mga shapes doon sa loob ng Google Drawings, okay lang po yon. Parang dinadrag lang natin siya. Pero when we are dealing with so much measurements in terms of pixels, pwede po tayong gumamit po ng arrow keys sa keyboard. Pag kiniklik po natin yung arrow keys, ang tawag po natin doon ay scoot. Nag-move po yung mismong shape 5 pixels from the first ano po niya, place. Now, pag sinabi naman natin the nudge, gagamit po tayo ng shift sa ating keyboard. Long press po yon. And then, using arrow keys, mag-move po ito ng 1 pixel. So again, balikan natin. Yung scoot, hindi natin ipipress po yung ating shift button sa ating keyboard. Ang tawag po doon ay scoot. 5 pixels po ang kanyang pag-move. While nudge, we're pressing the shift sa ating keyboard, i-hold press natin siya with the use of arrow keys, mag-move ito ng 1 pixel away. Okay po. Let's have the resize everything. Sa Google Drawings, meron siyang features na nagre-resize din po siya. No? When you highlight multiple items on the screen, you can resize them all at once. So para maging efficient po yung ating pagtatrabaho. Say you have 9 rectangles and you want to resize all of them equally, highlight them, and use the light squares on the corners of the edges, then resize them all. If you want to resize everything proportionately, hold the shift key while you resize. So yan po, kapag naka-shift key po tayo, long press, at idadrag po natin yung mouse doon sa shapes, magkakaroon po ito ng resizing proportionately. So, yung kanyang length and width ay proportion po sa pag-resize. Line everything up equally. Pwede po tayong line up in terms of align vertically, align horizontally, sa center, and distribute to make the spacing between items equal. So lahat po ito ay talagang magandang features ni Google Drawing at meron po pong isa. Add images responsibly. Pwede po tayong mag-add ng images which are somehow pwedeng nakuha sa internet o kaya naka-download na at nakalagay na po sa ating computers at pwede po natin itong i-upload sa ating Google Drawings as image pong attachment. Ayan. So what are some ideas for students at syempre para na rin sa mga teachers using Google Drawings? Isa-isahin po natin, dear teachers. Okay. So for Google Drawings, I would like to present the suggested online activities na pwede natin gawin po sa Google Drawings. Unang-una, graphic organizers. Sounds familiar, right teachers? Kasi ginagamit na po natin ang mga ito, lalo na sa ating pagsasummarize po ng lesson at lalo na kapag nandun na po tayo sa dulong part na ng ating lesson. We also have the photo comic strips. Magamit din po tayo ng interactive posters at pwedeng gawin po natin yan sa Google Drawings. We also have annotation stations or what we call annotate images. Pwede rin po tayong gumamit ng Google Drawings at mag-produce tayo ng timelines. Ganito din, pwede tayong mag-produce ng interactive whiteboard. Next is word webs o yung mga semantic web. At pwede natin itong gawin using Google Drawings. And informational graphics or infographics. And the last one na pwede nating masuggest na magawa using Google Drawings ay tutorial graphics. Ready na po, dear teachers? So discuss po muna natin what is a graphic organizer. Graphic organizer is a teaching and learning tool that is used to organize information and ideas in a way that is easy to comprehend and internalize. By integrating text and visuals, graphic organizers show relationships and connections between concepts, terms, and facts. Yan. So yun po yung definition ng graphic organizer. At ano ba yung pwede nating makuha as benefits in using graphic organizer. Now, let's explore the benefits of graphic organizers as a learning tool. One, increases student engagement. The use of graphic organizers provides a hands-on approach to learning. These tools, when incorporated in the lesson, provide the students with the opportunity to actively participate and contribute to their learning process. The designs of the graphical organizers and the act of organizing content serves to stimulate both the creative and the logical parts of the brain. It also develops team dynamics when given as a group activity. Another benefit would be facilitates cognitive processes. Through the use of graphic organizers, various cognitive skills like brainstorming, generations of ideas, organizing and prioritizing content, critical analysis, and reflection can be developed. The exposure to the various tools helps improve the student's capacity for active learning. The visual representation also serve as visual cues, aiding retention and recall of concepts and their relations. This is highly useful when reviewing notes before examination. No? Ang ganda ng mga benefits sa paggamit po ng graphic organizer. Next, improves comprehension. The use of graphic organizers allow us for the deeper understanding of the content. The pictorial representations enable students to break down bigger ideas or concepts into smaller and simpler illustrations that are easily comprehended. Another primary advantage of this visual learning tool is its effectiveness in facilitating learning among students with disabilities. So napaka-promising ng paggamit po talaga ng graphic organizers, and it is scientifically proven na effective po sa ating pagtuturo. Now, let's discuss some engaging activities using this one, the Venn diagram. We let the students write similarities and differences on a topic. This is a graphic organizer that helps you visually represent a comparison of differences and similarities between two objects, and this is what we call the Venn diagram. So, ano ba yung mga steps natin dyan? Una, syempre, write down the topics being compared on the top of each circle. Next step, write down the differences or unique characteristics inside its own sector, avoiding the overlapping area. And step 3, list the similarities in the common area. May papakita po akong isang template ng ating Venn diagram. Click ko po itong link natin. Ayan. So, papasok po tayo dito sa ating Venn diagram template. So, ito po yung pinapakita natin na interface po ni Google Drawings. Meron po tayo dito logo ni Google Drawings at pwede natin itong ma-open sa Google Drive. This is the file name ng ating Google Drawing file. Kung gusto po natin naka-star, i-move natin si document status. Yan po. And then, of course, meron tayo dito mga toolbars, file, edit, view, insert, format, arrange, tools, and help. And then, meron po tayo dito mga toolbars pa rin. And then, ito po yung history, yung comment history, yung ating sharing settings, at ang ating Google account. What's good here, dahil nakasync lang ito po sa ating Google Calendar, Google Keep, Google Task, Contacts, and Google Maps. Yan po. This would be a template ready to use by the teacher. I-click lang po natin. Pwede po nating baguhin yung title ng Venn diagram. No? Pwede nating lagay a comparison ng plant cells versus animal cells. Okay. And then, pwede po tayong maglagay ng specific instruction para po guided yung mga bata. Ayan, that's one good example po ng Venn diagram in Google Drawings. Okay, balik po tayo sa ating presentation. Next po, we also have the next set of graphic organizer. This is KWL. Again, another familiar graphic organizer na ginagamit po natin somehow dun pa lang sa start ng ating lesson. At meron po ito sa start din ng somehow self-learning module. KWL chart is used for gathering information from students' prior knowledge or experience. This three-column chart captures the before, what the reader already knows, the during, what the reader wants to learn, and after, what the reader learned. These are the stages of the reading in KWL chart. Step 1 natin, get the students have the brainstorming around the selected topic and write down everything they know about in the K column or what I know. Step 2, ask them to generate a list of questions about what they want to know in the W column of the chart, what I want to know. And the last step, during or after reading the book or having the lesson, get them to answer these questions in L column or what I learn. We'll let the students list what I know, what I want to know, and what I have learned. So may papakita po akong isang template ng KWL chart in the Google Drawings. Yan, may kita po natin, iba-iba po ang ginawa kong colors to somehow separate the three columns po ng what I know, what I want to know, and what I have learned, or simply the KWL chart. Again, this is a template. Pwede na pong ma-edit right away. Okay, next one. This is what we call the Frayer Model. The Frayer Model is a framework or a model for a thorough understanding of new words. This model is an example of graphic organizer for building student vocabulary. This technique requires students to target vocabulary and apply their knowledge by generating examples, non-examples, giving characteristics, and or drawing a picture to illustrate the meaning of the word. This information is placed on a chart na nakita natin sa screen that is divided into 4 sections to provide a visual representation for students. We have the typical Frayer 4 square model that includes the following elements. We have the definition on the upper left, either from a teacher or in students' own words. We also have characteristics, examples, and non-examples. Mapakita ko po muna ang ating template sa ating Google Drawings. Yan, ganyan po, dear teachers. Meron tayong definition, characteristics, examples, and non-examples. And this is a template, pwede po nating i-edit right away. Okay po. Next, this is an example of Frayer Model. Usually kapag nasa Mathematics 9, yung mga characteristics of a quadrilateral, specifically rectangle. Nandito po yung definition ng rectangle. The facts, theorems, or kung ano man yung characteristics or properties ni rectangle, examples of rectangle, and non-examples of rectangle. Pwede po natin gawin yan, lalo-lalo na sa ating Google Drawings. Next, we also have the choice story planning. It provides a template for story choices and decision. This visual organizer may be used in the following subject areas, dear teachers. In the history or social studies, choosing a new path for historical figures, pwede po yan. For science, showing outcomes for different choices in a lab or laboratory. Mathematics, giving some life to story problems, pwede rin po yan. Family and consumer science, show how a recipe could go right or wrong based on our decisions. And for physical education in MAPE, it show how choices in a game strategy or fitness could go right or wrong with choice story planning. Pwede po natin gawing example po ito as template. Ayan, meron po kayo nakita, dear teachers, na nandito po yung event at pwede po itong click and drag like this. May specific tayong example, drag items on the canvas to use. This white part is the canvas. Use Control plus D to duplicate any item. Number your slides when you finish with the red dots. Okay po. Pwede nating i-close na po itong mga templates natin. Okay, let's have the next set of online strategy. Using Google Drawings, we can produce or create an infographic. Infographic is a graphical representation or visual representation of information, data, or knowledge intended to present information quickly and clearly. Somehow, these are the possible characteristics and benefits na pwede natin makuha using infographics. And basically, infographics are great learning activity. Our brains love images and text together. Totoo naman po yan. It helps students think critically about subject, data, set, or complex ideas. It also aids students in organizing information in a logical way. Infographic creation helps meet the technology literacy standards na pwede po natin makuha sa ating mga most essential learning competencies. Students create to make meaning. Okay? It helps the student exhibit their understanding on a subject in different ways. In short, it makes them more creative by shifting their perspectives. Last one, infographics make students summarize. This infographic help the teachers and the students to save time in creating visual aids, particularly if they use infographic templates na pwede nating explain at ibigay or i-provide later. And this infographics is a great opportunity for teachers to learn something new. Ayan. One good example na nagawa po sa ating Google Drawings, ayan, isang example po ng ating informational graphics or infographic. What are the steps in making an infographic? Unang-una, make a plan. Of course, dear teachers, meron tayong plan kung ano ba yung ating gagawan ng specific subject and then the topic. The next one, create your file. Dun po sa ating Google Drawings. Create the title. Yung title po na nakalagay doon sa ating Google Drawings. Create the first image or the text item. Number 5, add image and text. Number 6, fill the page and finish everything. And then number 7, wrap up and make the design sparkle. And number 8, turn in and share your infographic. Of course, this steps in making an infographic po ay talagang kailangan natin sundin para magkaroon po tayo ng effective at visually appealing na infographic. I would like to share po, ito po yung isang example taken from Ditch the Textbook, no? Yung 10 easy ways to clean up our Google Classroom. Ayan. Ginawa rin po yan sa ating Google Drawings, ang paggawa po ng isang infographic. Here are some examples of infographic, the math icon board. Pwede nating hanapin yan sa template natin. Dear teachers, yan. Makikita po natin yung canvas po natin at yung mga icons. Pipresent ko po yan mamaya kung saan kinuha yan na walang problems with regards to copyright. Yan, pwede po nating i-move yung ating mga instructions, yung nasa call out, ito yung mga call outs na to. Pwede nating i-move po yung mga icons at kayo na po bala. It depends po sa instruction niyo po as teacher. Ayan. Next po tayo sa ating sample ng infographic. We also have the treasure map icon board. Wow, interesting din po ito, no? Pwede po natin magamit ito sa subject sa Araling Panlipunan or History na pwede nating lagyan po ito. Para maging infographic, pwede po tayong magdagdag po ng mga text. Okay po. Next. I would like to share the tips and hacks in creating infographic. Ayan, gusto ko kasi po maraming ma-share tayo sa ating dear teachers, no? Hack 1, find great visual online. Let me share this one, yung The Noun Project. Pwede po tayong tumingin po dito ng mga examples. This nounproject.com features the most diverse collection of icons and stock photos ever. Download SVG or PNG files. Browse over 3 million art quality icons and photos. Pwede po tayo makakuha po dito ng halos lahat ng gusto nating icons and photos for everything na walang problem po sa internet ng na wala pong problems po sa ating copyright issues. Ayan, pwede po tayong mag-explore at maghanap po ng hinahanap po natin na icons and pictures. Again, of course, mag-join po kayo at mag-create po kayo ng account sa ating The Noun Project. Ang ating URL po ay thenounproject.com. Yan, pwede po tayo maghanap po dito ng mga pictures and icons. Icons and photos. Ayan, pwede po tayo maglagay po dyan ay mag-download ng mga icons. Usually, ano po ito kapag icons, black and white. Very minimalistic. Okay po. Next, we could also look for this one, the flaticon.com. Tignan lang natin yung kanyang website. This is the web page po ng Flat Icon. The Flat Icon, dear teachers, you may download free icons and stickers for your projects or yung ginagawa nating infographics. Resources made by and for designers katulad ng PNG, SVG, EPS, PSD, or CSS formats. So lahat ng ito ay pwede nating ma-download, no? Kasi ito po ay ginagamit usually sa maliliitang mga files. Pwede rin po sa web pages. Pwede rin naman po sa ating infographic. Ang maganda po dito, colored na siya. Icon fonts for any project, big or small, pwede rin po yan. At makikita niyo po, napaka-promising ng flaticon.com. So, pwede po natin yang ma-explore kung maghanap po tayo ng resources on the internet. Creative Commons Images. Ito po. Since tayo po ay, syempre, ayaw nating maghanap ng resources na may problema sa copyright, pwede tayo dito. Pwede tayong maghanap ng over 600 million items to reuse. Wala kasing siyang problem. Pwede po tayo mag-reuse po ng mga particularly pictures po kung naghanap po tayo ng mga contents or elements na gagamitin natin sa infographic. Yan. And the Pixabay, yan, gamit ko na rin po yan sometimes, lalo na sa aking YouTube channel at walang problema with regards to videos and photos. Yan po. Pwede po kayong mag-click ng images, pwede rin pong photos, vector graphics, illustrations, even videos, music, sound effects, and users na walang problema po sa copyright. Yan po. Pwede nyo pong hanapin yan, pixabay.com. Okay, dear teachers, balik tayo sa ating presentation. Hack number 2. Ayan. Use keyboard shortcuts to save time. Una-una, when we want to resize the text in the Google Drawings, ipipress lang po natin, Control plus Shift plus comma. So, naka-ano po yan, sabay-sabay po yan, no? At naka-long press. To make the text smaller, and Control Shift period para naman mapalakihan natin yung ating text. For the zoom, Control plus Alt plus plus to zoom in and Control plus Alt plus minus to zoom out. Yan po, para mag-zoom in at mag-zoom out. Next, hack 3. You may use shapegrams. Kung kayo po ay ano na po, no? Pwede nating hanapin sa ating Google browser, sa ating Chrome. Shapegrams. Ayan. Google search natin, ito po. Yan ang kanyang website. Pwede po tayong maghanap ng mga icons na libre. Pero yung iba may bayad po, no? Ayan. Pwede tayong kumuha mga sequence and assorted po na icons. Ayan. Ito po yung mga free. The rest po, talaga magbabayad na po tayo. Again, this is shapegrams.com. Ito po yung anatomy ni shapegram. Each shapegram document contains an instructional video, design hints, pictures to create, space to draw, and a related activity. Makikita niyo po, no? Pwede po yang gamitin sa loob mismo ng ating Google Drawings. Kaya very exciting para na-explore natin tong shapegram. Next one, ang paggawa naman ng photo comic strips. These are form of sequential storytelling that uses photographs rather than illustrations for the images, along with the usual comic conventions of a narrative text and word balloons containing dialogue. Of course, gusto naman natin na hindi tayo masyadong conventional when it comes to photo comic strips, no? Pwede po natin itong magamit. How to make a photo comic strip? First one, set up the framework of the comic. You can create a 4-panel comic strip as simply as with these two lines, horizontal and vertical, to divide it into 4 equal stations or sections. Makita po natin, mabilis natin pong ma-resize yung 4 na shapes, no? Sabay-sabay or simultaneously. I-highlight po natin. Pag na-highlight na yung 4, pwede nating i-click at i-drag para lumaki po sabay-sabay. Makita po natin yung kulay blue na naka-placeholder na siya and ready to resize. Step number 2, dear teachers, find your favorite pictures of Creative Commons or public domain image sources. Pwede tayong gumamit ng Unsplash. Tingnan natin yung Unsplash. Kumukuha rin po ako dito ng mga pictures na walang problema po sa ating copyright. Ayan. At somehow mga HD or high definition pa ito na pwede natin itong i-reuse or redistribute. Ayan. We also have Creative Commons search yung kanina, Pixabay din. Pwede rin po tayo dito kumuha ng mga pictures kung gagawa po tayo ng photo comic strip. Ayan. Pwede rin po tayong step 3, gumamit ng Bitmojis. Alam ko nagamit na natin po ito at na-explain na sa mga lessons po at webinars po ng EdTech Unit, yung paggamit po ng Bitmoji. Ayan, kailangan meron po kayong account dito at pwede nyo na pong magamit ang sarili nyong Bitmoji based dun sa inyong feature ng muka. Kung lalaki o babae, tapos yung pwede nyo pong baguhin ang settings ng inyong Bitmoji avatar. Kasi ang Bitmoji kasi, di ba usually nagbibigay po tayo dito ng ating avatar. Ayan. You can create an expressive cartoon avatar. Choose from a growing library of moods and stickers. Okay, balik po tayo sa ating presentation. Next. Yan. Step 4. We can add icons from the noun project. This is nounproject.com. Dear teachers, meron pa po tayong interactive posters. These are interactive posters that are like academic posters but use web links. May mga links siya, animations, videos, and etc. to enable the audience to access further informational materials on the topic. Yan ang maganda sa tinatawag natin na informational or interactive posters. One good example na ginawa sa Google Drawings, this one, student interest surveys to connect learning to their world. Gumamit po ng mga icons dun sa ating noun project. Ito po yung mga black and white na to. And then, nag-type lang po sa Google Drawings. Another example, is student note-taking relevant in today's classes? Yan po, ginamit din po dito ang mga icons sa thenounproject.com. Nilagay dyan. Gumamit lang po ng mga ating shapes. Yan po. And nag-type. Meron na tayong tinatawag natin na interactive poster. Ayan. So these are the benefits po na paggamit po ng ating interactive posters. Of course, trade in markers for cool fonts. Pwede nating laruin yung fonts, pero sana hindi po masyadong masakit sa mata. Meron pong mga rules, no, kung paano po mag-provide talaga ng magandang informational poster or interactive posters na hindi po nasa-sacrifice yung font. Quit cutting pictures out of magazines and start adding digital images. Siyempre, napaka-messy kapag maggugupit pa tayo sa ating mga magazines, pwede na po diretso, digital image na. No glue sticks to put things on your poster. Yan, medyo messy yan talaga, lalo na when we use glitter o glitters dun sa ating poster. Talagang kakalat po yung ating glitters sa ating room. Yan. Now, this one, sa ating comment section, dear teachers, sa ating video dyan. So, I would like to ask your Google takeaways. Pwede po tayo ditong mag-type ng ating statements. The first statement again is, tonight or today, I learned blank. Kung ano po napag-aralan natin, pwede po tayo mag-iwan ng message. Second statement, I will apply what I learned tonight by blank. And third statement, I need more information on blank. Okay. Dear teachers, again, Google Drawings is the hidden gem in the core apps of Google Workspace for Education. This powerful tool has lots of potentials. Yan po, talaga nakita natin yung potential po ni Google Drawings sa paggawa ng mga posters, yung ginawa po nating mga visual organizers, etc. At gamit na gamit po ang ating Google Drawings. Now, we are done with the entire presentation of the topic. Let's draw designing relevant, accessible workspace using Google Drawings. I hope you have learned a lot from this session. But before we end this session, ayan po, pwede na po tayong magbigay po ng comments and suggestions. Pwede pong mag-reach po sa aking Facebook account, Rainier Garcia De Jesus. Pwede po kayong mag-subscribe po sa aking YouTube channel, Rainier De Jesus TV. At pwede nyo po akong i-contact sa aking email address, rainier.desus@deped.gov.ph. Again, this has been your Sir Rainier G. De Jesus, one of the DepEd ICTS EdTech Unit. At napag-aralan po natin ang Let's Draw, Designing Relevant, Accessible Workspace using Google Drawings. Good day and goodbye po. Marami po salamat sa panonood and God bless us all.